us your reaction to the debate last night.
Well, the goal, and I think that the candidates often miss this, it's not to win the debate. It's not to score points. It's to win voters. Marco Rubio clearly won yesterday's debate. Our 23 Houston voters thought that he had performed much better than anybody else, and yet only 3 of the 23 actually switched their votes. Maria, this is what, about the 10th Republican debate? This is the least amount of switches that we've ever had in any of these. So imagine watching for 2 hours and 15 minutes and being able to change very few minds. That's number one. Number two is that Ted Cruz absolutely disappeared. He is one of the best debaters that the Republicans have right now. He had challenged Trump and Rubio in past debates very effectively. Yesterday, he was nowhere to be seen. And number three, and I know that he's far back in the polls, but I got to give John Kasich credit. Particularly in the second half of the debate when they were talking foreign policy, Kasich was scoring real points because he wasn't engaging the other candidates. He was talking about where he stood. To be clear, the battle isn't about Trump or Rubio or Cruz or Kasich or Carson. The best Republican, the most effective debater is the one that takes the case to Barack Obama and, most importantly, Hillary Clinton. But that's not enough if you don't change voters. And so Rubio won the battle, but I'm not convinced that he won the war.
All right, so going into Super Tuesday, that was really important to have a victory under Marco Rubio's belt. Is it going to be enough? He needs to win a state, Frank.
Exactly. And Florida doesn't come up for 2 more weeks. Every poll shows Rubio down. I know that the campaign is challenging it, but that's what campaigns do. If it's a good poll, they tout it. If it's a bad poll, they ignore it. Ted Cruz has to win Texas. In fact, Rubio actually wants Cruz to do well enough to deny Trump a sweep. Okay. I'm looking at Tennessee as the opportunity. And by the way, I just wanted you to know that these kicks are made for walking. This is this is going to be next year's Christmas gift. Donald Trump, Make America Great Again. They're the most uncomfortable sneakers ever made.
Unbelievable.
And maybe that's why they got Trump's face on it.
Who's making those sneakers? Is that part of the Trump campaign? Who's Who honestly, made the sneakers?
I did. So let the lawsuits begin. So yes, I made them in Europe where you can actually control the copyright. I'm going to be selling them for $59.95, and then Donald Trump will be suing me tomorrow, so I could be one of the millions of people that Trump is suing.
Oh my God! Here's David Webb on set.
Frank, how you doing, buddy? I want to pick up on a point you made about who they're talking to. John Kasich last night was talking to the voters. He looked at the camera. He didn't engage the others.
He always does that.
But contrast with Rubio, who went after Trump, do you think the voters, you said few switches, but in general, as you look at the population, you think the voters went, okay, you're fighting with Trump, but I'm looking at the guy who's talking to me, and maybe they look at Kasich a little more?
And the one who perfected that was Chris Christie in the earlier debates. Voters want you to look them straight in the eye, as I am doing to you right now, because they're trying to decide, do you say what you mean and mean what you say? The number one attribute that Republicans want. And number two, when you get elected president, will you actually do what you commit to? And so looking straight at the camera would be the strategy that I would recommend. Sometimes I wonder who is debate prepping these guys, because they're making the most basic mistakes that you learn in high school debate class. Rubio was effective in his sound bites, and that Donald Trump line was really good for him. But it doesn't change voters unless you look them straight in the eye and convince them that you are what you say that you are.
That makes sense.
How strong does Trump look? And I'm being fair to all these guys, not picking a horse. When he's got 2 guys attacking him, and he still comes back with taglines, punchlines, memorable lines. I mean, does that help Trump look a little stronger, and the other guys look like they need to attack him? Is that a plus or minus?
So I was asked a question yesterday by someone who was trying to make a decision whether to donate a very large amount of money to one of the candidates who wasn't Trump. And I said, watch the debate before you make that decision. Donald Trump, by the way, in the first 15, 20 minutes in the exchanges with Rubio, Trump beat Rubio, because Rubio just sounded like someone who wanted to get into a fight, and Trump sounded stronger, tougher, more of a leader. As the debate went on, someone needs to train Donald Trump not to be so angry, not to make these personal attacks. It's okay to have a good line to brush someone away. But to our groups, and it's been this way for the last 3 or 4 debates, he comes across as mean, and it gets meaner as the debate goes on. For viewers at home, take a look at the transcript of this debate, and you'll notice that Trump's sharpness, the nastiness, got deeper as time went on, and Marco Rubio actually got better as time went on. The attacks were more crisp and more clear.
Frank, what does this mean for the election? I mean, I was looking at your research earlier that young Americans are so liberal, and that they're looking toward Bernie Sanders. Take us forward 6 or 8 months, and what do you think this tells us about the election?
The Snapchat generation, the 18 to 26-year-old voters, they're going to be voting Democrat by a higher percentage than what they did even 8 years ago when they gave Barack Obama 60%.
Really?
Latinos, despite what Trump says, are going to go with the Democrats maybe 75-25. Where Trump does particularly well is among working-class voters. The average Republican presidential candidate gets them by about 42%. Trump could be anywhere from 47, 48, even close to 50. So he's going to gain working-class voters, lose younger voters, lose Latinos. We're going to have the craziest campaign we've ever seen, and we've left out the 2 words that strike fear in both of these candidates, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and that's Mike Bloomberg. We don't know what he's going to do. He may get in the next 10 days.
Yeah, we'll see. So there's still a lane open for him then. Real quick, Frank.
Exactly.
All right, Frank.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
There is a lane open for him. He starts at 28% of the vote. That's significant.
Wow. Frank, good to see you as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon, Frank. Frank Luntz there in Houston this morning.